it's Molly and welcome back to my channel. Welcome here if it's your first time. I am bursting at the seams because I am so excited for this video. It is 30 different concealers over 30 days. There is something for everyone in this video. I am just, every single day I wore a new concealer and filmed everything close up so you can really see in the same range as you would be applying the concealer at home. And then we go outside so you can see it in natural light, and then we check in at the end of the day. As you can imagine, and as you saw from the length of this video, it's a lot of information. So I'm going to try to keep it moving as quickly as possible, and it actually really does move along. One other thing before we get into it, I do think that eye cream makes a very big difference in how your concealer looks. This is the DHC Coenzyme Q10 eye cream that I have been using for 6 years now. There is a whole post on the blog about it, and so I will link that, but it really does make my under eye area look dewy, which as we age, I like. My skin tone is light with a peach undertone. I am 39 years old. Woohoo! If you go underneath this video and click on show more, the description box will drop down and all of the concealers are listed and linked. So all of the information is underneath the video, as well as on Girl Get Glamorous. That post will be linked in the description box as well. And on the blog, it goes over the product name, the amount of shades available, the price, the size, the formula, whether it's a liquid or a cream, and all of the links. Save it in a little folder. And it's time for you to shop for a new concealer. Beep bop boop. Get on the interwebs and you can go back and check in with this video in that post. There are two ways to view this video. You can watch it in its entirety and see all the concealers next to each other. There are also timestamps underneath the video. This next part is really important, so don't skip to the concealers just yet or you will be so confused why I'm putting them on differently. Throughout the video on this side of my face, I'm going to be applying the concealer in this traditional half moon shape. It's just, I think, considered the traditional way to do concealers. I'm applying one layer in the half moon shape, and I will go back in and apply a second layer in a minute, but on the other side of my face, I'm doing it my Girl Get Glamorous method. So I start with the color corrector at the inner corner, and then I apply concealer, stopping at the pupil for application, and then I blend it up and all the way out to the outer edge of my eye. But I stop the application at my pupil so that I don't get a lot of product on the outer edge. I am going to add a second layer so that you can see how the concealer blends and how it melts into that first layer, and if it looks cakey or if it looks really flawless. And then after this, I will grab a brush, if needed, a concealer brush. This is the Hourglass and the other one is from Moda Cosmetics, and I'll use them just to blend out the edges and give myself a really seamless look. And then on the Girl Get Glamorous side only, I will grab my beauty blender and spray it with my setting spray. I start at the outer edge and then will set all of that concealer to prevent it creasing with my beauty blender. And then after this, on both sides of my face, I will use this diffused light ambient lighting power from Hourglass. It has a slight yellow tint, so if you are cooler toned or you don't want any color, I do recommend sticking with the Hourglass Veil powder that I use in my original concealer video, which is again a really beautiful powder. They both are. I just have been using this one lately to get a little bit more of a blurred effect, but you can see that it does add a slightly yellow tint. So if you don't want that tint, stick with the Veil. So you can see on the Girl Get Glamorous side, I do like that method because it's a little bit softer on the outer laugh lines, and you can see on this side where I do the traditional method, it can just look a little tiny bit heavier in my laugh lines. So that is why I stick with that GGG method. All right, here is all my social information. You can find me on Instagram at Girl Get Glamorous. Subscribe to this channel. You can find me on Pinterest at Molly Gardner 1, and there's always more on the blog at girlgetglamorous.com. Woo! All right, I am so excited. Here we go. 30 concealers in 30 days. Yes. Oh, and if you are watching this video and you are thinking this is really helpful, please give this video a thumbs up because it will help out the video. All right. First up is the Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, and I'm testing shade 4. In the foundation, I'm shade 4.25. I do think the concealer was slightly too yellow for me, but they did not have a 4.25 concealer. So this is a second skin finish. It's available in 20 shades. It retails for $38. The formula is liquid and it has 0.4 ounces. This is a very, very natural skin-like finish concealer, and I did love how when I added this second layer, as you can see, it really does melt into your skin. It doesn't look cakey, it doesn't look heavy, it has a light reflecting finish, so it looks really, really pretty. I personally like just a hint more coverage, but for somebody who loves that no makeup, this would be a great pick for you. So this is after my workout. You know, it kind of did disappear, but overall, I was really impressed with the concealer. Next up is the Armani Beauty Power Fabric Concealer. This is also available in 20 shades. It retails for $34. It's a liquid formula and 0.2 ounces. This is their long wear formula, and I did notice that the shade 4 is significantly darker than the Luminous Silk Concealer shade 4, so that was interesting. I think maybe if you are very young with oily skin, this would be a great concealer for you, but honestly on me, I felt like it made my under eye area a little bit dry looking. It really accentuated fine lines and, you know, a slight patchiness under my eyes. So this was not one that really wowed me, if I'm being honest. I just felt like it looks a little bit heavy and a little bit product-y. It actually looks really nice right here, but I just felt like in real life it just made fine lines look a little bit deeper. And I don't know, just overall, I was like, yeah. If I was gonna pick between the Armanis, I would go with the Luminous Silk. It does stay on your face though. I will say this is after the end of the day and after my workout, and that concealer is still on there. So I will give it credit where credit is due. Next up is the Becca Cosmetics. This is their Aqua Luminous Concealer, and this is available in 9 shades. I chose shade Porcelain, which is the lightest shade. Becca makes the corrector that I am obsessed with, so it is no surprise that I also love this concealer. It retails for $32. The formula is liquid, and the size is 0.18 ounce. This is a light diffusing formula. It's great for dark circles if you don't want to wear a ton of product, because it really does diffuse the light, and I think it just makes dark circles disappear, but without having to wear a ton of product. So it's just a beautiful light formula. My only thing that I would change with this concealer, and I've actually said this to Becca, I've begged them for more shades because this is the lightest shade and I don't think that it's super light, and it leans really yellow even though it's supposed to be cool. So I do think if they expanded their shade range, it would be beneficial because I think it's a beautiful product. I just love how it looks on my skin. I think it's very mature skin friendly. It never looks heavy, and I think it looks natural outdoors too. It's really interesting. This is our backyard, and I feel like everything looks kind of blue outdoors. It surprised me. I'm not sure why, it's just natural light. Here it is at the end of the day, and I feel like the concealer does a decent job of holding on. There's definitely some disappearing towards the inner circles, but overall I think it stays on pretty well. Next up is the Beauty Blender Bounce Airbrush Concealer. This is a new product that just hit the market last year. It has this great concealer wand that's actually shaped like their beauty blender, and it comes in 40 shades. My gosh, I mean, there is truly a shade for everyone, and they have peach undertones, which I love. So I chose shade 160 Light Peach. It retails for $26. It's a liquid formula and the size is 0.27 ounces. And this is a full coverage formula. I actually did not need to use as much as I did. I need to start doing the dots. I do those swipes and I put too much product on, and I really need to learn how to dot it out. But I think this is a great concealer. It layers well. It's definitely a lot more matte than I typically would go for, and it does dry down quickly. So I think you know, once you have it on, start blending because it really does dry down. But I love the coverage it provides. I think it's a really beautiful summer concealer as well. Like if you tend to get oily, I think it would be a great concealer to pop on over any spots or discoloration because there is not shimmer. There's no, you know, real reflection like that. It's just a really nice skin-like finish. So it is a little bit more dry and a little bit more matte. I do want to mention that for my mature skin friends, but overall, I'm just really impressed with this concealer and the shade range is just absolutely stunning. So there really is a concealer shade and a concealer undertone for everyone in this lineup. Next up is the ColourPop No Filter Matte Concealer, and this is available in 30 shades. It retails for $7. It is a liquid formula and it is 0.14 ounces. So I'm using shade Light Neutral, which I think leans a little bit more yellow. I think that this concealer came out, I want to say 3 years ago, so I would have been 36. In my younger days, I initially liked this concealer, but I will say as time has marched on, I don't love this as much for mature skin. I do love the coverage. I think it's really a nice amount of coverage that you get. And I mean, the price, my gosh, that is a great price for a concealer. But I've noticed that initially, I think it looks like so beautiful. You get a ton of coverage. And then when I step outside, I'm like, ooh. It really emphasizes fine lines. I think this would be great for a younger gal. I think it would be great for oily skin. It's just not the right one for me. And I do need to test out the new ColourPop concealer. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer, and I am using shade 4. This was just in an order of mine, and so I thought, you know, what the heck? Let's throw it in this video so that we can get as many concealers tested as possible. So I already used the shade 3 sample, and that's when I realized, like, this is legit. This is a great concealer. So it is available in 16 shades. It retails for $32. I mean, Charlotte Tilbury, I love her products, but you got to give her all your money to get her products. It's a liquid formula and it is 0.13 ounces. I will say this is a gorgeous finish. I mean, it is absolutely stunning. It has a wonderful amount of coverage. I think it looks just flawless. It really, really looks airbrushed. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful finish. This is the end of the day after a long workout, and look how flawless it looks still. I mean, I am just blown away with this formula. Next up is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. This is a brand new concealer this year. It is available in 28 shades. It does have 1 or 2 peach undertone shades available. This is obviously another sample that I got in a Sephora order. The full size is 0.37 ounces, which is giant. That's a ton of product. It retails for $36 and the formula is liquid. This has a second skin finish. So again, if you are a no makeup kind of person, this could be a great formula for you. But I also just love how it looks like my skin, but it's also covering everything up. As we're watching this, I'm just watching my dark circles disappear, and I feel like it gives this great amount of coverage and then somehow still looks like a second skin. So it's a really, really beautiful concealer. I think it's a nice, flawless finish. And I can't speak to the packaging, obviously, because I'm just using this little sample, but I do want to say it's a traditional concealer wand type package. So yeah, I mean, take this all in, right? I mean, this looks great. I think that this looks really beautiful. I would like to try their peach undertone concealer because I think it might be a better fit for me. The 1N leans a little bit yellow, but I love it indoors. I love it outdoors. I think it looks great. It does not accentuate fine lines. And here we are at the end of the day, and it's really held up. I mean, it is holding on throughout the day and throughout my workout. So definitely was impressed with this Dior concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. It's available in 25 shades. I chose shade Light Peach and it retails for $6. It is a liquid formula and it contains 0.203 ounces of product. And this is a concealer that really surprised me. To be honest, I had tried their original camo concealer and I was not a fan. It was just a little bit too heavy looking for me. And then something about this one just spoke to me, and I decided to give the Camo Concealer family another shot. So I picked up this hydrating version, and it's dries down to a surprisingly satin matte finish in, I think, a really flattering way. But I love, first of all, I love the undertones. I love that they offer a peach undertone. It's really hard to find actually in the lighter skin tone categories. And I also picked up, this is their Camo Concealer Sponge, and I like it. It works really well for the concealer area. It has that pointed tip. And just overall, I feel like this is a great finish. I mean, very natural looking. It could have a little bit more coverage if we're being honest. I think I would like to see a little bit more of my dark circles being covered up, but doesn't that look natural? I think it looks really pretty and it's easy to wear. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't accentuate fine lines. It just looks really fresh. And I was very, very surprised and happy with this concealer. We just got home from a 3.5-hour bike ride, and as you can see, my makeup is melted off everywhere, but I want to show you because I think that the e.l.f. actually stayed on fairly well. It's kind of unbelievable to me that I still have product on, considering the rest of my face is just melted. This is the Fenty Instant Retouch Concealer. It's available in 50 shades with peach undertones. Although their peach undertones, they do make them cooler. Traditionally, peach undertones are warmer, so I did want to mention that. It retails for $26. It's a liquid formula and it contains 0.27 ounces of product. And it's interesting, you can see that cool tone almost immediately when I put the concealer on. So this is a great shade range. I mean, wow. Like, I was really impressed with how many they have, and I think it is a great concealer for somebody who is slightly younger and slightly oilier. I think on mature skin, you'll see it somewhat emphasizes my fine lines, but I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. So it blends really easily, as you can see, with fingers or with a brush, but it does dry down quickly. So it does dry down and set. Make sure you get it on there and start blending. It definitely brightens. I think it does the trick. I mean, it gives a lot of coverage. It makes my under eye area look very bright. It blends out nicely with a beauty blender. It does not totally disappear under a semi-damp beauty blender that has been sitting out for 20 minutes, sprayed with setting spray. I think it holds on nicely, but I have noticed that it can emphasize the texture under my eyes and the outer corner of my eyes somewhat. You can sort of see that here, how it clings to those fine lines. It just makes them look a little bit heavier than I would like. But like I mentioned, if you are younger or you don't have a ton of laugh lines, it might be a great concealer for you because it really does brighten. And I just think, you know, it's that shade range. Very nice, very impressive. This is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. It's available in 22 shades with some peach undertones available. First up is the shade that I'm going to wear in the video. It's called Cedar and it has a peach undertone. And then next is called Silk, and this has a pink undertone for cooler undertones. But I wanted to show you the difference. It retails for $34. It's a liquid formula and it's 0.2 ounces. I mean, wow. It just melts in. I was so impressed. When I finally picked up the right shade, I'm just like, okay, I'm just tapping it in so gently and it's just melting into my skin. It's a really stunning formula. I don't even really think I needed a second layer, but I wanted to show you a second layer on all the concealers. So we're doing, it's a level playing field here, folks. So I mean, this is just wow, right? Like, I feel like it really melts in and just looks so beautiful. Really a nice amount of coverage for such a lightweight formula. It feels like there's nothing on my skin. And this is the new Hourglass concealer brush, which I did not anticipate liking as much as I do. I mean, I always just think like a brush is going to be a brush. And then when you get a good brush, it's like, holy cowabunga. It just buffs everything in beautifully. And this is the new Veil Setting Spray as well, which is a beautiful, everything's a natural skin finish. I mean, look how lovely that looks. It's just like, all right, like we're in business, baby. And there is the Hourglass under eye powder as well. As you can probably tell, I enjoy Hourglass products. So I just think that they have a lot of formulas that work really, really well for mature skin and are very flattering. So I think that this one is really nice. I feel like on mature skin, it sinks in. It does not emphasize under eye texture. It does not emphasize those laugh lines. Even when I'm smiling, you can see it's just kind of a nice soft finish. So I was really impressed with this concealer. I think it's just beautiful. I'm happy that they have a light peach concealer as well. I think peach is just, it's so brightening and so flattering. And here we are at the end of the day, and it held on. On the side without the Becca corrector, I can see my dark circles coming through a little bit more than on the side with the corrector here. But overall, love it. Great concealer. This is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Concealer, and I am using shade 12.5 Warm. This is a light peach shade, and you are going to see me tapping my fingers together before I apply it. And that is because this is a cream liquid hybrid formula, and it really does work best if you tap your fingers together and warm the product up before you start to apply it. So I wanted to mention that. This is available in 48 shades. It retails for $27. As I mentioned, it's a liquid and cream hybrid, and the package contains 0.4 ounces of product, which again is a ton of product. And this is full coverage for dark circles. This is just, I feel like the second that this concealer came on the market, it was a hit because it actually really does cover things up. So I'm using that light tapping motion all over to really warm up the cream and warm it up into my skin. And you can see that if you start to just pull it, it doesn't blend as well. But when you do that light tap, it really does melt into the skin. And here I am just setting it on the GGG side and making sure that everything is set for the day. This concealer, I mean, it really covers things up. And I think once you get the application down with the warming it up and tapping it in, that's when it can start to look like a second skin, but give you a ton of coverage. I mean, if you have dark circles, they better be scared because when you get to the IT Cosmetics, it's not playing around. And 0.4 ounces of product is a ton of product, but then especially when it's a liquid cream hybrid, just the tiniest little dot gives you so much coverage. So if you bought an IT Cosmetics concealer when it first came out years ago, you're probably still using that first tube. I do think it does fade a little bit sooner than I would like it to. This is at the end of the day after my workout, but overall, it's just a great concealer. It works, man. It puts in the work. This is a new brand to me called Kaja, and this is their Don't Settle Concealer. This is a Sephora exclusive. It is available in 12 shades. It retails for $16. It's a liquid formula, and it contains 0.21 ounces of product. Now, elephant in the room. This shade is way too dark for me. I should not have gone by the online reviews. The online reviews said that it runs really light, and so I was going to order 1 or 2 shades lighter, and I saw a ton of people saying that, and I was like, well, I will order shade 5. It's too dark. It's too dark. But the formula itself is very pretty. This is a super lightweight formula. This is for the person who wants to feel like they have nothing and who needs only the lightest amount of light deflecting coverage. This is for the ultimate no makeup gal. And I tend to prefer a little bit more coverage if we are being honest, but my gosh, I'm putting a lot of this on too. I really messed up. This poor concealer, it deserves a better shot than I am giving it. But I will say this, in spite of me using far too much product and picking the completely wrong shade, I really like this formula. I mean, It's luminous on my skin without looking too dewy. To me, it just melts in. It looks like a second skin. You can still see my dark circles a little bit, which is why I think if you don't have a ton of dark circles, if you are kind of, a teen gal looking for no makeup, this is really pretty, really affordable. And look at, at the end of the day, it stayed on. Might be the wrong color, but it stayed with me. And it actually doesn't look terrible here. We made it work. But yes, so that's a new brand, Kaja. This is one of my favorite brands. It's called Koh Gen Do. I have waxed poetic about their foundation. It's a high-end line from Japan. And this is their Moisture Fit Liquid Concealer. It is available in 3 shades. And I know that they have gotten some questions before about their shade range, but as a makeup artist, I will say their undertones are so beautiful. I really have been able to match every single client. So I want to mention that because I know it seems like it's going to be impossible, but I've had so many people who've never had a good color match before who have been very impressed with the Koh Gen Do undertones. They really have put out a beautiful quality range of undertones there. So I did want to mention that. It is a high-end luxury line. So it retails for $50. The formula is liquid and it is 0.25 ounces. This is a mature skin favorite. As you can see, I am just lightly tapping and it is melting into my skin. It is, my word, it is stunning. If you are the kind of person and you just want a concealer that works and you are not, worried about budget, Koh Gen Do is a great brand because their products are so effective. They're so beautiful. They look like a second skin. They cover. I just think they're so flawless. And I think that they are truly such a unicorn brand for nailing this flawless finish. My under eyes look so smooth to me. It looks like I don't have any product on, but I do. And I just think it's just so gentle, so lovely on mature skin. Wow. These are a makeup artist favorite product for a reason. They really look like nothing but cover, and this is the end of the day. Super long workout and everything is still looking flawless. So they've become a favorite on set for that reason as well. There's not a ton of touch-ups throughout the day. You're not wasting a ton of product reapplying to keep things in place. This is the Koh Gen Do Moisture Concealer Palette, and all 3 shades are in this palette. We have a light cool shade, a medium peachy shade, and a deeper, more salmon colored shade. And this concealer, wow. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So the concealer palette retails for $70. It is a cream formula and it is 0.14 ounces of cream product. This is a makeup artist favorite for a reason. You have all 3 in one palette so you can match your clients. And I also think it's a great palette for somebody who self-tans because you can mix as needed as your tanner changes throughout the week. And the first time I tried this concealer, I was actually speechless because it just looks so flawless. And for a cream product to melt into your skin and look like nothing on your skin is so rare. Koh Gen Do products are an absolute treat. They really are for the person who just wants products that work. So if you are a makeup artist or if you just really want a product that delivers, Koh Gen Do, it works. Here we are at the end of the day after a long workout, and to me, the concealer looks almost identical to when I put it on earlier. It might have worn off a little bit on the side without the Becca corrector, but it looks absolutely flawless to me. And you can see the rest of my face is very sweaty after my workout, but the concealer just looks beautiful. So Koh Gen Do has another hit. They really have the most beautiful complexion products. This is the Kosas Revealer Concealer, and it is available in 16 shades. What I wanted to do here was show you 2 different shades. So on this side is shade 2, and this is shade 3. And the concealer undertones look a little bit funky at first, if we're being totally honest. And so I wanted to show you because I think when they blend out, they look so beautiful and flawless. I'm actually gonna combine the two shades for this video, but I wanted to show you them individually first so that you can get, you know, an idea of them. So I applied the shade 2 first, and then I'm dotting on a little bit of that shade 3 as well. The shade 3 is supposed to be a cool toned and the shade 2 is a warmer tone, but they both seem a little bit warm and yellow to me. And they look really, really yellow at first. And then when you start to blend them out, to me, they start to look like a more true skin undertone. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, this retails for $28. It's a liquid formula and there's 0.2 ounces of product. This is a clean beauty brand and they wanted this formula to be a hybrid of an eye cream and a concealer. I do recommend still wearing an eye cream with it. I will say this is one of the creamiest, most incredible formulas. I was so blown away. I mean, it really does feel like you're wearing an eye cream. It's so soft, so hydrating. Look at my under eyes here, just look so amazing to me. They look really smooth. My skin looks very healthy and hydrated. Fine lines where? I mean, this concealer really is a mature skin win. It looks so smooth. I mean, this concealer is so soft, so hydrating. It's really the creamiest formula. I'm just so blown away by it. It's a fantastic formula. And this is the end of the day. It really holds on. On the side without the Becca corrector, you can see my dark circles a little bit more, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful concealer. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser Concealer. It's available in 18 shades. It retails for $10. The formula is liquid. There's 0.2 ounces of product, and you have seen this on my channel before. You have seen this. This is like one of the best selling concealers in the world. So I'm swatching 3 different shades. I've started to actually wear this light honey shade, which looks really dark on my arm, but on my under eyes is a very nice light peach shade. So wow, right? I mean, I would think I was going for the lighter shades forever, and then on a whim just bought this shade Light Honey. It's one of their newer shades because they expanded their shade range this year, and I'm so impressed. This formula is just lovely. There's a reason that it is one of the best-selling concealers in the world. It is so creamy looking. It's so lovely looking. It really does cover. The price is fantastic. $10. I mean, hello. This is an incredible drugstore win. And I'm glad that they expanded their shade range. They really do have a lovely range now. I think that there's something for everyone. And this concealer blends out nicely with a brush. It blends out nicely with a beauty blender. It's just a nice lightweight concealer. It does not feel heavy. The first time I wore it, I will say my under eye area did burn a little bit, and I was like, oh no. You know, I have some issues sometimes wearing drugstore products just because my skin is hypersensitive, but I gave it another go, and that was, by the way, 7 years ago, and I have been wearing this concealer a ton since then. I mean, it really is a lovely formula. It looks smooth, it covers. I reach for this a lot of the time over high-end concealers because it's just, they knocked it out of the park. This is the Lorac Pro Soft Focus Longwear Concealer. It's available in 12 shades. It retails for $24. It's a liquid formula and it contains 0.25 ounces of product. So this is shade 1.5. This is the lightest shade they offer, and I will say that this runs a lot deeper than pictured. I mean, this is the lightest shade, and to me, this is not a fair shade. This is a light shade with a yellow undertone. I have mixed feelings about this concealer, to be honest. I think it applies really beautifully. It looks really, really smooth, but it did sort of have a funky smell. It dissipated within an hour, so it wasn't like all day long, you know, I was smelling this kind of like weird smell. But yeah, I don't know. The Lorac, the reason I wanted to try this is because the Lorac front of the line eyeshadow primer is hands down, my favorite eyeshadow primer on earth. It's incredible. So I thought I would give this a go. And I do like that it's lightweight. I think it looks natural, but I did feel like it emphasized texture just a little bit. Outdoors, lovely. Looks really beautiful, lasts throughout the day. I mean, it got rave reviews on Ulta. If you read the Ulta reviews, people are loving this. And I say great. If you find a shade that works for you, go for it. It does not crease terribly. It held up, but I wanted to share this one with you because it got such good Ulta reviews. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. It's available in 22 shades. It retails for $29 and it's a liquid formula that contains 0.23 ounces of product. This is shade 0.5N, shade 1N, shade 1W, shade 1.5W, and shade 2N. Shade 1.5 and 1N are neutral, definitely with more pink. And then the 1W has a more yellow undertone, the 1.5 even more of a yellow, and the 2N leans peachy, which is a nice surprise. I chose the 1W. It is a little bit more yellow than I would like. I would prefer a little bit more of a peach, but I do think it's the one that suits me the best. So that is my only thing I would change about the Laura Mercier concealer. I do wish that there were a few more undertones and a few more shades in that lighter range. I would not complain. But this is hands down one of my favorite concealers, not, of the year, but of all time. This is one of the best concealers I have ever tried. It melts into your skin. It gives flawless coverage. I mean, look at it covering up dark circles. It melts into the skin. I think I've said that already, but I'm going to say it again. You can put on layer after layer. It does not look cakey. It blends out with a beauty blender. It blends out with a brush beautifully. This is such a nice concealer. And I was seeing all these rave reviews on YouTube and on Sephora. And when I picked it up, I was even more impressed than I anticipated being. I mean, this is just such a mature skin friendly concealer. It looks like nothing. It feels like nothing, but yet your skin is everything. Like, this is just, wow. I reach for this concealer so often. It really surprises me how much it has taken over in my makeup cabinet. This is a long wear concealer and I do think it really stays on and holds up like, wow. Have I said enough nice things about this concealer? I like it. You can tell I like it. This is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer and I picked up a new shade, Cafe au Lait, to try. You might have heard of this concealer. I think it is the #1 selling concealer in the US or something crazy like that. I mean, they sell a ton of these. Now, I do wish that I picked up this light 1.25 shade, but I picked up the Cafe au Lait. It's a light peach shade and I wanted to swatch it with this sample card that they sent when I purchased this. So this is the Chantilly and this is a light neutral, and vanilla, a light cool toned shade, creme brulee, another pink undertone, and then honey, which is another peachy pink undertone. So I wanted to show all of those to you. That one definitely leads more pink. So this is the Cafe au Lait shade. And like I mentioned, I wish that I had picked up the Affogato. I'm 100% saying that wrong. This is a light peach shade and I felt like it was just a little bit too dark. So I added a little bit of that Chantilly, the light yellow. And like I mentioned, I'm trying to not mix a ton of shades, but I had to because it was just a little bit too dark. So if I picked this up again, it would be the Affogato 1.25 shade. But I mean, there's a reason a concealer is a bestseller. It really provides a ton of coverage, dark circles gone. It gives you a lot of bang for your buck. Now, I will say for my mature skin friends, I really would avoid putting this anywhere near fine lines. So definitely stop at the pupil in terms of application and then blend out from there because it can look a little bit heavy on the fine lines if you apply it there. it really holds up nicely. I mean, this is at the end of the day, and you can see my eyeshadow did not hold up, but the concealer really did. Next up is the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. This is available in 16 shades. I picked up shade Canelli, which is another peach undertone. It retails for $30, and it's a cream formula that contains 0.21 ounces of product. So this one I think is a little teeny bit dark as well, but I do think that this would be a great one for me to hold on to for when I want to cover up acne, sunspots, the veins that come through my skin, that sort of a thing. I was expecting it to be a little bit heavier because it's a cream, and I was impressed by how nicely the formula blends in. And again, I mean, there's a reason that NARS is known for their concealers. They make really, really nice formulas. Their formulas deliver. I would not mind seeing an expanded shade range for this soft matte concealer, but overall, I'm just really impressed with it. I was very blown away by how much coverage I got without it looking heavy or cakey, emphasizing fine lines at all. And the associate at the NARS store who helped me did say that it's more intended to cover up spots on the face, but I do think it's nice as an under eye concealer. So overall, I was very impressed with the soft matte concealer. This is the NYX Born To Glow concealer. It's available in 24 shades. It retails for $9. It's a liquid formula and it contains 0.14 ounce. I picked up the light ivory shade, which is supposed to be a light, cool shade, and it does, you can tell it is a little bit cooler. It's almost like a cool yellow, if that makes sense. I think that this concealer looks lovely on. I mean, I can see why people love it. It was recommended to me, and I can see why. But I will say, I tried to wear this concealer 3 different times, and every single time it made my eyes and my skin burn. So I tried. That part made me really sad because, I mean, I'm looking at this right now and it looks beautiful. It's such flawless coverage, stayed on throughout the day. This is after my workout. It's still on there, but it caused me so many skin irritations that I won't be able to wear it again. But well done. If you do not have sensitive skin, I think it could be a great one for you. This is the Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection Concealer, and it's available in 22 shades with peach undertones. This is shade L4, which is a light peach shade, and this is shade L7, which is a light to medium peach shade, which looks a little bit more yellow. And this is the Blurring Powder in Light. So I went with the L4, that was the lighter of the two, the more peachy concealer. And I do think it's a very nice lightweight formula. It blends in easily with just a few taps. And oh, I forgot to give the details. This concealer retails for $32. It's a liquid formula and it contains 0.16 ounces of product. So this is similar to the Armani Luminous Silk. This is a very sheer, light diffusing formula. And I think if you are the kind of person who wants some decent coverage, but also wants it to look like no makeup, this is a formula that is good for you. Now, to be totally honest, towards the end of the day, I really did start to notice that my under eye texture and fine lines seem to be emphasized. But when I'm looking at it now, when it's freshly applied, I really think it looks beautiful. I mean, to me, it's just very radiant. So on the side of my eye that is the half moon shape, I decided to do the blurring powder on just that side so I could see how it holds up. And initially, I like the blurring effect, and this is the side with the Hourglass powder, so I could compare the two. But I felt like, again, as the day went on, the side with the blurring powder just started to look heavy and created texture, emphasized that under eye area, as you can see here. So the blurring powder was not for me. And here's what I'm showing you. At the end of the day, I could see that texture coming out, which was really disappointing because this shade range and undertones is absolutely incredible. This is the Revlon Candid Concealer. It's available in 17 shades. It retails for $4, and I am showing shades 025 and shade 015, which is a much more yellow undertone versus the 025, which is more peachy. So I am going to combine the two because the 025 is a little bit too dark. So the 015 will be my second layer for this concealer. It is a liquid formula. It contains 0.34 ounces of product, and it is a light diffusing formula. So this is really nice and lightweight. Here's the 015 shade to just lighten things up a little bit. So this is, if you don't have a ton of dark circles and you just want a really nice, lighter, brighter concealer to brighten up the center of your face, I think this would be a great concealer for you. I think if you have truly dark circles, this would not be the right formula for you because it just is not going to give you that coverage that you want. But as you can see, it really brightens up the center of my face. And I think that it looks nice. It doesn't look heavy or emphasize texture. It just is very, very smooth, very, very nice. And the price is like, oh my gosh, wow, $4. And here we are at the end of the day, and I will say that this concealer does wear off a little bit more quickly than I would like, as you can see from the close-up. This is the Saem Cover Perfection Duo Concealer, which is a Korean brand, and this is one of the best-selling concealers in South Korea. It is available in 3 shades and retails for $10, and it is a duo concealer. On the cream side, we have 0.15 ounces of product, and on the liquid side, 0.16 ounces. And I purchased shade 1.5, which as you can see is too yellow and too dark for me, but I did want to show you the concealer because I think that it's a really lovely formula, especially at this price point. It blends out easily, it blends out well with fingers or with a brush, and I just think it's a really, really nice product, and I love that I had no skin sensitivity or any skin irritation. It just really wore nicely on my skin. I think compared to some of the other cream products I have used, it can be a little bit patchier and show a little bit more texture, but overall I was really pleased with it, and I can see why it is a best-selling concealer. Here we are at the end of the day with a little bit of creasing and a little bit of that texture, but overall really lovely. And this is the Saem Cover Perfection Tip Concealer in the 1.25 shade that I purchased to show you as a comparison with the 1.5. And I think the 1.25 is a much better fit. And then I also have shade 01 that my friend who is from South Korea gave me, which was a very sweet surprise of her, so that I would have more shades to show you. And it is available in 7 shades. It retails for $6, and it contains 0.21 ounces of product. And this liquid formula is South Korea's best-selling concealer formula. So you can see why. I think that this blends out really, really nicely. I'm adding a second layer and it doesn't look cakey. It really shears out beautifully. I mean, it almost shears out too much for my taste, to be honest. So I think that this is a really nice formula. Again, a little bit of texture shows through, but overall, I think it just looks really bright, really lovely, and the texture is so lightweight, so comfortable to wear all day long. It is a great one, and again, the price is a wow, $6. And here we are at the end of the day, and I do think that the liquid stays on fairly well, and overall, I'm really happy with it. This is the Shiseido Self-Refreshing Concealer, and I purchased shade 202 Light. It's available in 16 shades, and it retails for $31. It's a liquid formula and contains 0.19 ounces of product. I do think that this 202 shade is too dark for me. I did have a little bit of difficulty as I was shopping online with it and could not tell if it ran dark, it ran light, but I think that I will purchase this in one of the 100 level shades. This is one of my favorite foundation formulas, so I was really excited to try the concealer formula, and it did not disappoint. It really lived up to how great the foundation is. It just taps in easily, blends out so nicely, and overall is just a really easy, comfortable formula to wear. I feel like we are just living in this age of amazing cosmetic formulas. I mean, we are just spoiled, and I like it. I mean, it is like an embarrassment of riches with how many great, mature skin friendly, easy to wear, lightweight cosmetic products there are. Here we are outside, and again, looks really fresh, does not emphasize texture or fine lines. I think it just looks really, really nice. And here we are at the end of the day after my workout, and I really love this self-refreshing formula because it keeps both the concealer and the foundation from looking cakey. I really feel like my under eye area looks smooth, and even though some of the product has worn off from my workout, there's no emphasizing fine lines. It just looks really fresh. On the side without the Becca corrector, I would like a little bit more dark circle coverage, but on the side with the corrector, I think it just looks perfect still. I'm really, really happy with how it looks and how it wears throughout the day. So I think this self-refreshing formula is just lovely. And I will say one of the things about the self-refreshing formula, you do need to set it. I think that's kind of a misconception with these formulas. So make sure you are setting that with a setting spray or a powder. This is the Surratt Beauty Perfectioniste Concealer Palette, and I purchased shade 02, which has a nice peachy tone, a beige tone, and then a lovely lavender powder. It is available in 6 color palettes, and each of those contains 2 shades and 1 powder. It retails for $58. The creams total 0.19 ounces, and the powder is 0.12 ounces. This is a really, really lovely concealer formula from a working makeup artist, and I truly think that makeup artists create some of the most lovely cosmetic formulas because they know what they like and what they are looking for in a product. This is a cream product that gives a ton of coverage. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. It does not crease or cake. It does not look heavy. To me, it just ends up looking like a second skin. I do wish that I had just stuck with the more peachy tone for this video because I added that beige, and as you can see, it's just slightly too yellow for me, but I did want to show you both. And I did use that lavender powder instead of the Hourglass here, and I just think that the lavender is such a unique and such a beautiful shade. It really just looks lovely, wears nicely, and one of the interesting things about cream products in general is that they tend to look better as the day goes on. They warm up and melt into your skin, and so over the course of the day, they end up just becoming one with your skin and looking so beautiful. And here we are outside, and again, looking really flawless. I love this concealer. It's definitely a splurge. It is a high-end luxury price point, but I do think it's really, really pretty. And as you can see, here we are at the end of the day, and I think you can see what I'm talking about, how the cream formula really does melt into your skin. This was a long day as well. As you can see from the rest of my makeup, this was a long one. This is Tarte Shape Tape. You might have heard of this concealer as well. It is available in 30 shades, and of those 30, a few do have peach undertones. It retails for $27. It's a liquid formula, and it contains 0.33 ounces of product. This is a very popular concealer because it does have a lot of coverage, and I used this one in the concealer video, and I think that it sort of gave the impression I used it at the beginning of the video, and people got the impression that I did not care for this concealer, but I actually do like it. Even though this light neutral shade is not the correct shade for me, I do think that it's a nice formula specifically for covering acne and skin discolorations. I don't necessarily love it right underneath my under eye area, just because I do feel like it can emphasize those fine lines and some texture. But I do love, sometimes I'll pop just a little bit over this area of my cheekbone, the apple of my cheek, to really give me coverage there around the sides of my nose. It's just a really lovely product if you do have a lot of surface skin tone discolorations, because it cancels those out and smooths them out really, really beautifully. So even if you don't end up using this as an under eye concealer, I do think that it is nice for those skin spots to give yourself a little bit of coverage there. This formula actually feels very lightweight on. It does not feel heavy. And as you can see here, I think that on this side without the Becca corrector, you can see what I mean about how it adds a little bit of texture, and it can add and emphasize fine lines a little bit. And as we're outside, you can see a little bit of this texture as well. So for me, it's just not my favorite under eye, but as mentioned, it looks great other places and it really does feel lightweight. I love Tarte's ingredients. My skin always feels better off after using a Tarte product. And here we are at the end of the day, and it has not really budged. I think that it kind of looks the same as when I applied it on the Becca side. On the side without the corrector, my dark circle has peeked through a little bit, but overall really stayed on throughout the day. This is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. It's available in 35 shades. It retails for $29, and it is a liquid formula that contains 0.5 ounces of product. So this is the biggest concealer out of all of the ones we're trying today. That is a lot of product. Again, this is one that I purchased in the wrong shade, unfortunately, which is sometimes what happens if you're shopping online and can't really have a frame of reference for the line. But I wanted to show it to you again, just so that you can see how nicely it blends out. I think that this would be another great product for covering up skin discolorations. It has that same opaqueness, which is the right word. Oh, I think it's opacity? Why am I so bad at this? Anyhow, I think it would be great to cover up skin spots, veins, anything like that that comes through. I don't tend to love a coverage concealer under my eyes as somebody who has somewhat mature skin, but as you can see here, you get, wow, a lot of coverage. So I can see why this is such a best-selling concealer, because you really do get a lot of mileage out of it. This was the first time I wore this concealer, and I also put on a little bit too much, but you know, you live and you learn. And every time you use a concealer, it ends up looking better and better. So as you can see here, it does add a little texture under my eyes, or emphasize texture under my eyes, which is what I was trying to explain. And here we are at the end of the day, and I was actually quite surprised that this one faded more than I anticipated. You know, that's what we're here. We're here to see it all, right? Last but not least, we have Uoma Stay Woke Concealer. This is available in 20 shades. It retails for $25. It's a liquid formula. It contains 0.17 ounces of product and is an exclusive to Ulta Beauty. I purchased 2 shades. The one on the left is T2. It's a little bit more of a warm formula, and the T.75, which is a slightly cooler formula. And I just wanted to have a few to show you so that you could see that the one that initially looked darker, that I didn't know if it was going to be a match, I think that that is the better option for me. On this side with the T.75, it just is looking a little bit too frosty, but this T2 shade just really gave a nice amount of coverage, but still brightened at the inner corners of my eye. So let's go with the T2. Here we go. This concealer really dries down quickly, so I'm actually going to apply my Half Moon side and blend immediately. It surprised me how quickly this formula dries out. So I do kind of like that actually, because you're not left with a tacky feeling throughout the day waiting for the product to dry down. It does dry down pretty quickly. And I did like the shade range. I liked how sheer and smooth the formula is and looks and brightens. I mean, this product really, really brightens my dark circles, I felt like. Now, again, The opaque formulas are just not my personal preference as somebody with maturing skin, because I do feel like it ends up emphasizing texture and fine lines. But if you are a little bit younger and have more oily skin, this would be another great fit for you, because it really did last throughout the day, and as mentioned, dries down really quickly. It does not feel heavy, sticky, tacky at all. Really smooth, really lightweight formula. So if you are in that oily category, this might be a great one for you. And here we are at the end of the day, and the side with the Becca I felt like really lasted well with this Uoma Beauty. You can see at my inner corner, it just looks so bright still, so lovely. And the side without the Becca did wear off a little bit more quickly than I would like, but overall stayed very bright looking. We made it! 30 different concealers. I really hope that this was helpful. I'm excited about this video because there's truly something for everyone. So I hope that this becomes a great resource for you as you are checking in and needing to replenish your concealer to help you find the right formula for you. Let me know below, leave me a comment what concealers you love, what you want to try. And if you have any questions at all, ask below. I'm happy to answer. That is everything. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.
Walk out the door in my little black dress. Been a long day and